Did you know that the largest volcanic eruption in modern history didn't just darken the skies, it created a year without a summer? In 1815, Mount Tambora in Indonesia exploded with such unimaginable force that it plunged the world into a volcanic winter. Crops failed across Europe and North America, leading to widespread famine and disease. It's a chilling reminder that these geological giants have a global reach, capable of affecting all of us, no matter how far away we live. This wasn't some ancient mythical event, it was a brutal demonstration of nature's raw power, a force that sleeps, but never truly dies. We often think of our world as stable, solid ground, but that's a dangerous illusion. The truth is, we live on a restless planet. Beneath the thin crust we call home, there is a churning, superheated core of molten rock, a world of immense pressure and unimaginable heat. Volcanoes are the planet's safety valves, the weak points where this incredible energy can burst forth. They are not just geological curiosities, they are gateways to the inferno below. When that pressure builds to a breaking point, the results can be catastrophic. Understanding this is the first step to respecting their power. It's about recognizing the signs, knowing the risks, and never, ever underestimating the environment you're in. It's a fundamental rule of survival. We've all seen the classic images of lava flowing like a fiery river, but the danger is so much more complex than that. The real killers are often the things you can't outrun. Pyroclastic flows moving at hurricane speeds, clouds of toxic gas that suffocate entire towns, tsunamis triggered by collapsing mountainsides. The mountain doesn't just spew lava, it unleashes a multi-pronged attack that can catch even the most prepared off guard. It's a hostile environment where knowledge is your best weapon. So, while we go about our daily lives, these ticking time bombs lie in wait. There are around 1,500 potentially active volcanoes on Earth, and about 800 million people live within their deadly reach. That's more than 1 in 10 people on this planet. This isn't about fear-mongering, it's about awareness. It's about understanding the landscape and the forces that shape it. In the wild, complacency is what gets you killed. The same is true when living in the shadow of these sleeping giants. We must learn their secrets, respect their power, and be ready to act when the ground beneath our feet begins to tremble. History is filled with stories of cities and civilizations wiped out by a volcano's fury. The most famous, of course, is Pompeii. In 79 AD, Mount Vesuvius erupted, but not with a slow river of lava. It exploded in a Plinian eruption, sending a column of ash and pumice miles into the sky. For hours, the city was bombarded with falling rock, but the final blow came from a series of pyroclastic surges, incinerating clouds of gas and ash that swept through the city at over 100 miles per hour. They killed the remaining inhabitants instantly, preserving their final moments in a haunting tableau that we can still see today. It's a chilling lesson written in stone, but Pompeii is not the only ghost city created by a volcano. On the Greek island of Santorini lies the ancient Minoan settlement of Akrotiri. Around 1600 BC, the volcano Thera erupted with a force that dwarfed even Krakatoa. It blew the island apart, creating the stunning caldera we see today. The eruption buried Akrotiri in a thick layer of ash, preserving its buildings, frescoes, and pottery with incredible detail. Some even speculate that this event was the inspiration for Plato's story of Atlantis, a powerful civilization swallowed by the sea. The whispers from Akrotiri tell of a world that vanished in a flash of fire and water. More recently, in 1902, the world witnessed another horrific tragedy on the Caribbean island of Martinique. Mount Pelée had been rumbling for weeks, but the authorities, worried about an upcoming election, downplayed the danger and prevented an evacuation of the city of Saint-Pierre. On May 8, the volcano unleashed a devastating pyroclastic flow that obliterated the city in less than 3 minutes. Of the nearly 30,000 residents, only 2 are known to have survived. One was a prisoner named Ludger Silbarus, saved by the thick stone walls of his solitary confinement cell. His story is a stark testament to the arbitrary nature of survival in the face of such overwhelming force. These stories from the past are not just historical footnotes, they are urgent warnings. They show us that volcanoes have a pattern of catastrophic behavior, and that human denial and complacency can be as deadly as the eruption itself. Vesuvius, Thera, Pili. The lesson is the same. When the mountain speaks, you must listen. The ground beneath us keeps a record of these events, a history written in layers of ash and rock. Ignoring these warnings, ignoring the whispers from these lost worlds, is a gamble that history has shown us, time and time again, we will lose. To understand why some volcanoes are so deadly, you need to understand what's happening beneath the surface. It all comes down to magma. Magma is molten rock, but it's not all the same. Its composition determines everything. Think of it like this. Some magma is thin and runny, like honey, while other magma is thick and sticky, like peanut butter. This difference in viscosity is the key to an eruption's personality. Runny magma allows gas to escape easily, leading to gentle, flowing eruptions like you see in Hawaii. These are spectacular but far less dangerous. You can often walk right up to the edge of the flow. The real trouble starts with the thick, sticky magma. This type of magma is rich in silica, and it acts like a plug in a champagne bottle. It traps gases, water vapor, carbon dioxide, deep within the earth. As the magma rises, the pressure decreases, and these trapped gases start to expand violently, just like when you shake a can of soda. The pressure builds and builds until the rock above can no longer contain it. The result is not a gentle flow, but a catastrophic explosion. This is what powers the most violent eruptions on the planet. This explosion blasts magma into tiny fragments, creating a colossal cloud of volcanic ash, pumice, and gas. This is the Plinian column, named after Pliny the Younger, who described the Vesuvius eruption. This column can rise tens of miles into the atmosphere, posing a huge threat to aircraft and capable of altering the climate. But when this massive column becomes too dense to support its own weight, it collapses back down to Earth. This is what creates a pyroclastic flow, a superheated, fast-moving avalanche of ash and gas that is the single deadliest volcanic hazard. It's a land-based hurricane of fire. So, the mechanics of mayhem are simple. It's all about gas and viscosity. Thick, gas-rich magma means high pressure, which leads to a violent explosion. That explosion creates ash clouds that can ground flights worldwide, pyroclastic flows that can wipe out cities in minutes. Understanding this simple science is critical. It's why scientists monitor gas emissions, ground deformation so closely. They are looking for the telltale signs of pressure building up deep underground. They are trying to read the mountain's intentions before it's too late. When you're in the wild, you read the tracks. With a volcano, you read the pressure. Some volcanoes are killers by their very nature. These are the stratovolcanoes, classic cone-shaped mountains. Japan, the Philippines, the Andes, Mount Fuji, Mount Rainier, Mount St. Helens. These are all stratovolcanoes. They are built up over thousands of years. Hardened lava, tephra, ash. Their magma is the thick, sticky, gas-rich kind we just talked about. This means they don't erupt often, but when they do, it is with extreme violence. What makes these volcanoes especially dangerous is their location, the Ring of Fire. This is where the majority of Earth's volcanic eruptions and earthquakes occur. These regions are often densely populated. Tokyo, Manila, Seattle, Mexico City have grown up in the shadow of these sleeping giants. The style of eruption is another critical factor. The 1980 eruption of Mount St. Helens in Washington state was a terrifying example. It didn't just erupt upwards, it exploded sideways in a lateral blast. An earthquake caused the volcano's northern flank to collapse in a massive landslide, which instantly uncorked the pressurized magma chamber. The resulting blast flattened 230 square miles of forest in a matter of minutes. Another deadly type is the caldera-forming eruption, Yellowstone Supervolcano. These don't form mountains, they create massive craters, or calderas sometimes miles wide. An eruption from one of these could have global consequences, ejecting enough ash to block out the sun, trigger a volcanic winter, and cause a worldwide agricultural collapse. These are the apex predators of the volcanic world, operating on a scale that is almost beyond human comprehension. They are the ultimate low-frequency, high-impact threat. For hundreds of millions of people, living near a volcano is just a simple reality. The soil on volcanic slopes is incredibly fertile, enriched by minerals from past eruptions, drawn farmers and settlements for millennia. But this gift comes with a terrible risk. The threat is a constant looming presence. Naples, Italy, more than 3 million people live near Mount Vesuvius and the Campi Flegrei caldera. An eruption here would be an urban catastrophe. Imagine Vesuvius erupting today. Evacuation plans exist, but moving millions would be a logistical nightmare. Roads choked with traffic, public transport overwhelmed, panic setting in. The eruption would unleash falling ash and pumice collapsing buildings, pyroclastic flows surging toward the city, the sky turning black as night. "We have a plan, but it's a race against time," one volcanologist told me. "The mountain will give warning, but will it be enough? Risks extend beyond the blast zone. Volcanic ash is made of tiny, sharp rock and glass particles. Inhalation causes severe respiratory problems. Mixed with rain, ash becomes wet cement. Roofs collapse. Contaminates water supplies, destroys crops, grinds infrastructure to a halt. Mount Rainier could trigger massive lahars down river valleys, threatening Tacoma, Puyallup on ancient mudflow deposits. The psychological toll is immense, constant low-level anxiety, living on borrowed time. Every quake or steam plume feels like a warning. Children practice volcano drills like fire drills elsewhere. Still, life goes on. Homes, families, businesses, a testament to resilience, and a high-stakes gamble. Betting the mountain stays quiet for one more day, one more year, one more generation. In the face of nature's overwhelming fury, survival often comes down to a combination of instinct, luck, and sheer determination. The 1985 eruption of Nevado del Ruiz in Colombia is, well, a tragic story, but within it are incredible tales of resilience. The eruption melted the volcano's glaciers, sending a series of massive lahars down the mountain. The town of Armero was swallowed by the mud, killing over 20,000 people. Yet, some survived.
One survivor recounted, "The noise was like the end of the world. I grabbed a floating log and just held on for my life as the mud carried me for miles through the darkness."
Perhaps one of the most dramatic stories comes from the 1980 eruption of Mount St. Helens. A volcanologist named David Johnston was stationed at an observation post just 5 miles from the summit. His last radio transmission was a cry of pure urgency. "Vancouver, Vancouver, this is it!" He was killed instantly by the lateral blast, but another geologist, Harry Glicken, had been scheduled to be at that post. At the last minute, he had to leave to attend a meeting, and Johnston took his place. Glicken survived, haunted by the twist of fate. His survival was a matter of pure chance, a stark reminder of how thin the line between life and death can be. Then there is the incredible story of the Miracle of the Andes flight crew. In 1982, a British Airways 747 flew into a dense cloud of volcanic ash from the eruption of Mount Galunggung in Indonesia. The crew had no idea what was happening. One by one, all 4 engines failed as they were choked by the fine, abrasive ash. The plane became a giant glider, descending through the darkness over the Indian Ocean. Captain Eric Moody made a now famous announcement to the passengers. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We have a small problem. All 4 engines have stopped. We are doing our damnedest to get them going again. I trust you are not in too much distress." Against all odds, as the plane descended into cleaner, denser air, the crew managed to restart the engines and land safely in Jakarta. The abrasive ash had sandblasted the cockpit windows, forcing them to land using only a tiny sliver of visibility. Their calm professionalism and resourcefulness saved the lives of all 263 people on board. It's a powerful lesson in keeping a cool head under extreme pressure. When everything is going wrong, your mindset is the one thing you can still control, and it can make all the difference. Around the world, volcanologists are watching a number of volcanoes with, well, growing concern. These are the giants that are showing signs of restlessness, ground swelling, gas emissions changing, increase in small earthquakes. At the top of many watch lists is Campi Flegrei in Italy. This is not a mountain but a massive sprawling supervolcano, or caldera, lying mostly underwater and directly beneath the western suburbs of Naples. The ground here has been rising and falling for centuries, a phenomenon known as bradyseism. It's literally breathing. A major eruption here could be an apocalyptic event for Europe. In the United States, the focus is often on the Yellowstone caldera, but the more immediate threats are the stratovolcanoes of the Cascade Range. Mount Rainier, which looms over the Seattle-Tacoma metropolitan area, is considered one of the most dangerous volcanoes in the country, not for a massive explosion, but for enormous lahars. Another volcano causing concern is Mount Agung in Bali, Indonesia. Its 2017 to 2019 eruption cycle forced the evacuation of over 100,000 people and severely disrupted travel. While that phase has quieted, Agung's 1963 eruption killed over 1,100 people. It remains under constant surveillance. The question is not if it will erupt again, but when, and with how much force. The signs are there for those who know how to read them. From Mount Fuji in Japan to Popocatépetl near Mexico City, dozens of volcanoes pose a significant threat to large populations. Scientists use an incredible array of tools: GPS to measure ground deformation, spectrometers to analyze gas, and seismometers to listen to the Earth's heartbeat. They are the sentinels on the front line, trying to decipher the mountain's language. Their work is a constant race against time, trying to provide enough warning for people to get to safety before the sleeping giant finally decides to wake up. The raw power of a volcanic eruption is something we can never hope to control. We cannot stop the magma from rising or prevent the mountain from exploding. Trying to fight that kind of force head-on is, honestly, a fool's errand. But that does not mean we are helpless. In any survival situation, from being lost in the desert to facing a natural disaster, the ultimate tool is not a knife or a fire starter. It is preparation, knowledge, planning, a respect for the power of your environment. The same is true when facing the fire from below. The science of volcanology has made incredible leaps forward. We can now monitor volcanoes with a precision that was unimaginable just a few decades ago. Satellites track ground deformation, sensors detect minute changes in gas composition, seismic networks listen for tremors. This technology allows scientists to issue warnings, days, weeks, months in advance of some eruptions. The 1991 eruption of Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines is a prime example. A timely and accurate forecast led to the evacuation of tens of thousands of people, saving countless lives. This scientific knowledge must be paired with public education and robust emergency plans. Communities living in the shadow of a volcano need to know the risks. They need to have clear evacuation routes, designated safe zones, go bags packed with essentials, water, food, masks, a radio. It's about building a culture of preparedness, where drills are practiced and warnings are heeded without question or delay. Complacency is the enemy. Trusting the experts and having a plan is your best defense. Ultimately, volcanoes are a fundamental part of our world. They are a force of both creation and destruction. They have shaped our planet and our history, and they will continue to do so. We cannot eliminate the risk, but we can learn to live with it intelligently. By investing in science, listening to the warnings, preparing ourselves and our communities, we can face the fire. We can turn fear into respect and panic into action. Survival is not about being stronger than nature, it's about being smarter. And in the battle against the volcano, preparation is the key to victory. Stay prepared, stay alert, and you will survive.